today. We're excited to get started and hear our presentation, so I would like to introduce you to Paula Klepeski so she can tell you who our guest is today and a little bit about him.
We have never had a guest speaker from the secondary level come and speak at our school at Mitchell Intermediate School. So I thought this would be a great opportunity for you to learn more about secondary options. I, for one, have a child in college. I have a child who's a junior in high school and a child who's a freshman in high school. So as a parent, even me being a principal in the school district, I learn something new every time I go to a parent presentation. So for someone who's not in the school system, I hope you learn a great deal today. It's very important, I think, for you to know that there are many, many options for your child as they go into 9th grade, but you need to be enrolled in some things in 7th and 8th grade in order to take advantage of those options, especially for 6th grade parents who are now making choices for McCullough, and you make those choices in February, which is not that far from now. So this will help you. I'm so excited about Dr. Null coming today. He is our Assistant Superintendent for Secondary Education, and Dr. Null, without further ado.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everybody. Like she said, what a great problem to be overstuffed, and I hope you're comfortable. Hopefully you can find a place and settle in a little bit. I'm going to share some information with you today. It's nothing earth-shattering, okay? I don't have the secret to being the valedictorian. I'm not sharing that today, but I'm just going to share some general information, and you'll hear it over and over again. But before I get into that, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I started my teaching career right where your kiddos are headed, at McCullough. Now, when I worked there, it was a 9th and 10th grade campus for the Woodlands High School. I was there for 1 year and then 2 years at the Woodlands High School. I was a teacher and an athletic trainer at the Woodlands High School before moving to Knox as an assistant principal. And then I've spent the last 8 years as a junior high and high school principal up in Conroe. So I've kind of been where your kids are going. And more important than that, and the most important parts of my resume are I'm married to a Conroe ISD kindergarten teacher, and I'm the daddy of a freshman and a 6th grader. So I sit right where you are, okay? And a little story about that. For whatever reason, I don't know why, but my daughter is a 6th grader. Her name is Kaylee. And for the last 2 weeks, she's been on this kick about October 1st is, October's breast cancer awareness. Dad, you have to wear pink on October 1st. You have to wear pink on October 1st. You have 6th graders, you understand this. So last night, I'm getting my stuff together, and she comes in. Don't forget you have to wear a pink tie tomorrow, Dad. Sure. So I take the pink tie, put it up, I hang it on the thing. Well, this morning I get up and I start to get dressed, and I'm thinking about this presentation. I'm thinking, well, it's probably more professional if I wear the traditional black or gray suit and the red or blue or yellow tie, just to look traditional. Because I don't see her in the mornings. I wake her up and then I leave, and so I don't really see her. But at the last second, I thought, no, I'm going to wear what she picked out for me to wear. And by the grace, okay, kept me from having a very bad dad moment. Today, as I was walking out of the house, is the only day this school year she has come down the stairs before I left. And I had my back to her, and she said, "Turn around." So I won today as a dad, okay? I'm in good shape, and I'll be all right when I go pick her up for her orthodontist appointment later, all right? I'll be okay. We are going to share information today, and like I said, it's going to be real broad, okay? There's not going to be a ton of notes that you need to take. I've tried to give you, the handouts. It's information for you. I've also sent the PowerPoint to Paula electronically so that she can upload that or send the link to you guys in addition to the video. So you'll be able to access this at any point. But the real thing is a mindset more than anything else. It's about understanding where your kids are headed. Now, how many of you have already had kids go to junior high or high school in here? All right, so all of you that aren't raising your hand, those people are your support system, okay, to tell you they're going to be okay, and they are. They're going to be fine, all right? Now, I'm going to give you a lot of information today, and you're going to hear all of this information again, over and over again, over the next 7, 6 years, whatever it may be. But I put the little asterisk there to denote anything could change at any minute. All right, I'm telling you stuff about high school. The state could change the rules as they do. Things happen over time. So know that because I said so on October 1st, 2014, might not really be the case in 2019 when your student's a senior. All right, so we want to keep you up to date as you go into the future. Now, we're real proud of Conroe ISD, and at this point in your life, I think you've realized how lucky you are to have your kids in a place that like you do. This is a fantastic school. They're going to McCullough, they're going to the Woodlands High School. Absolutely great leadership, and the principals, our longest tenured principals are junior high levels at McCullough, high school level is at the Woodlands High School. Fantastic, fantastic schools. And our vision in Conroe ISD, while we want them to do well on tests, that's important, but it's not the most important thing. Our vision in Conroe ISD is that our students graduate competent and ready for the real world. Whatever they want to do, they have options when they leave high school, and they control their options instead of the world controlling their options. That's what we want for your kids. Everybody wants their kids to be in the top 10%. All right? Here's the bad news. 90% of you won't have kids in the top 10%. There's no magic formula to get more kids in the top 10%. But they don't have to be in the top 10% to go on and be successful in life and have a great experience. I'm going to start with House Bill 5. This is the driest, most boring topic, so I'm going to hit it first. You've read about this in the paper over the summer. House Bill 5, what is that? Well, House Bill 5 is what changed really the rules for secondary education and for all of education moving forward. And it applies to the current freshman class and below. So even if you have students in high school or beyond, this is a new game for your freshmen, okay? It changes the graduation requirements. Now, if you've read, you've probably heard, they've changed all the different math classes, all this. Here's the reality in Conroe ISD. It hasn't really changed much. While the state lowered expectations a little bit, we did not. So I will show you that as we move forward. Here are the plans. They have a foundation high school plan, which is the basic curriculum. They have the foundation high school plan with endorsements. You can sort of think of it like a college major. An endorsement is sort of like a college major, all right? Then we have distinguished level of achievement and performance acknowledgments. And I'm going to describe each of those to you. Now, one question that always comes up, does it matter which endorsement I go with, or what happens if I don't get a performance acknowledgement? Here's the honest answer. I don't know, okay? Because it doesn't matter to us. It would only matter to the universities. And they have given no indication that they care at all, honestly. Okay? And you'll see in our program, your kids are going to graduate with endorsements and they're going to be distinguished, so they just follow our plan. They're going to have all that, but I just want to tell you that really, when you're applying to colleges, they're going to look back at what courses did they take and how did they do. They're not going to be as concerned about which endorsement or distinction did they get. So, here are the graduation plans. In the middle, you have Conroe ISD Foundation Plan, which is our basic plan. It's one that only a small percentage of our students will follow. Most of our students will follow the right-hand column, which is the CISD recommended plan. You will notice there, it's 4 credits of English, 4 of math, 4 of science, and 4 of social studies. Traditionally, that's been called the 4x4. Take all 4 core subjects, all 4 years of high school. We have kept that in our plan. The only thing that's changed, if you have an older student, the only thing that's changed from the current recommended plan for our upperclassmen that are there now to the new plan is the half credit of speech that used to be required is no longer required. Okay? I still think speech is a pretty good class, I will tell you. I would encourage you, we only offer certain courses for high school credit in junior high. Speech is one of them. I would encourage you to have your 8th grader take speech. It's just good life skills, right? It's good for people to learn how to speak and communicate with each other. So I would encourage you to go ahead, even though it's not a required class, it will still count as a high school elective if they take it in 8th grade, and it just gives them an extra half credit, and they can move forward. But that's the only real change. So that half credit went down to just general electives, and you can take whatever you want. So what does it look like? English, pretty simple. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, very easy. Science, take biology as a freshman, chemistry, physics, and then an approved 4th year science course. You can see the social studies track there. World geography or AP human geography. We'll talk about what AP means here in just a second. World history, US history, and then government eco. And then mathematics, that can get a little more complicated depending upon where you start along the way. And we'll visit about that here. Here's math. Everybody has a ton of questions about math. I could do a 2-hour presentation on this slide, but I'm not, okay? I'm just going to share with you the broad overview of this. Your child is sitting in a math class, maybe right now, in this very building. They're sitting in a math class. They may be in level math, they may be in advanced math. What you see here is the track that they will follow depending upon where they are sitting in class today. Here's the big caveat. No one is stuck where they are today. There are opportunities to advance. If you feel like your student should advance, they have opportunities. They will take a placement test, and depending upon what they score on that test, it could advance them up. If they don't make the qualifying score on the placement test, we have CISD Summer School, where we have a hybrid model of some class time, some online, of math advancement classes that they could advance that way. So you can get them to a faster track if you want to do so. The on-level normal track is that bottom horizontal row there, which is pre-algebra as an 8th grader, algebra as a 9th grader, geometry, algebra 2, and then you see the choices in 10th. If they advance 1 year, that's the group that takes algebra as an 8th grader. You can see their options. And then if they're 2 years advanced, which I caution you on, honestly, okay, that's kids that I would say are truly gifted in math, not just a gifted child, a child that is truly gifted in math. They do algebra as a 7th grader, geometry, then as an 8th grader, and then move forward, algebra 2, and they go on that way. I caution you, and I can't say it enough, having been a high school principal and watched kids that were pushed a little too hard before they were ready into some of these courses. They get to algebra 2 as a freshman, and all of a sudden they struggle. And algebra 2 as a freshman has GPA points attached with it, and they're making a C, and nobody understands why. And now my GPA is suffering, and it's not fair because I'm a freshman in algebra 2 and it shouldn't hurt me, but it does. So that's what I'm telling you. Be smart about what you do here. You know, take the mom and dad glasses off and look at them truly for their scores, and talk to the principals, talk to Mr. McCord, talk to Ms. Kopesky here, and they can help guide you, but you don't want to force them further along than they are ready to go. Now, the endorsements. We talked about them. They're sort of like college majors, and there are 5. STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Business and industry, we can see everything that falls underneath it. I don't want to just read you the slides. Public services, arts and humanities, and multidisciplinary studies. Many of your students, if they're on an advanced track and are taking a lot of AP courses, will fall in the multidisciplinary studies. Now that's not just like a general ed, you're thinking like college, I don't want my kid just majoring in nothing. That's not what that is, okay? That's a criteria just for those kids that are doing a little bit of everything. They can fall into that category. Once again, does it matter which one they go into or which endorsement they end up with? I don't know that it does. That's the university's decision, not ours. We don't care which one they go into. I will show you what our recommended plan will already guide them to, but I don't know if it will make a difference when they try to go to college as to which one of these they have followed. When you look at those 5 endorsements, one of the things you see on there is a lot of courses that would fall under career and technical education, or CTE. Now, there's been a big shift in education. You've noticed it over the last few years, where 10 years ago, everybody was going to college. That's what we said, right? Everybody's going to college. The reality is, there was never a time where everybody went to college. But as public educators, we didn't do a great job of preparing those students that weren't going to go directly to college to do other things. Or maybe they're going to go to a 2-year college. Or maybe they're going to go to the workforce for a little while and work their way through college. We now do a much better job of that. We have great CTE programs in Conroe ISD. And I highlighted here, this is just the Woodlands High School. Okay, this is just what's available there, where your students are going. There's a lot of them. The ones in yellow I want to talk briefly about. There's a business administration track. they can go in. There's a few courses they can take in business administration. When they come out, they will have Microsoft certification. Makes them very employable, right? That helps them a lot. We have a SCORE program, which is new. We're actually piloting this across the nation in College Park and the Woodlands are the two schools that are doing it. And it's, some of you may be familiar with DECA when you were in high school, where students basically run a business. The SCORE program is they create a business, and we have local business people come in, and it's kind of like the TV show Shark Tank. They're going to have a panel, and they're going to come in and present. It's a competition. The two schools are competing, but great experience for the students involved, great connections they're making with these local business leaders. It's a fantastic program. Culinary arts is one that as a district we're real proud of. All of our high schools have a Culinary 1 program where students learn the basics about culinary arts. And then we have a Culinary 2 program that's located at Conroe High School, but students from any of our high schools can apply and go there. And it's a multi-million-dollar facility. I was going to put pictures in there, but then I'd just get lost and start showing you too many pictures. It's unbelievable, okay? Has a little cafe that looks like a Starbucks, and then the back kitchen is the most professional looking kitchen you would ever see. And students that go through that program come out with ServSafe certification, which makes them more employable as a server in a restaurant, okay? And in addition to that, they have skills that will guide them if they want to be a chef, they want to go into that world. There's no better training that they could get than in our culinary program. And then finally, we have video production, specifically at the Woodlands High School, is a very successful program. They do great things. They produced for us as a district last year a CTE video where they went out and interviewed a lot of famous folks, and we've shown that video to all of our 8th graders in Conroe ISD. But they also have an internship with the Woodlands Online. If you ever go to woodlandsonline.com, you'll notice that they are now streaming all of our football games, the South County football games at Wood Forest. They stream them on the website. And it's our students that are involved in doing that with them. So they're the camera folks, they're doing the production, they're doing all that. So great hands-on experience. And these are programs that don't always get a lot of publicity. You know, we'll talk a lot about AP and dual credit, and we're about to, but these programs should not be forgotten because they're powerful and they can make a big difference in kids' lives, okay? And they're a great way to put people through school. You know, if you financially need a little help. One of the ones, cosmetology is a big one that we have, and it's not located at Conroe High, at the Woodlands High, but it's at Conroe and Oak Ridge. But students can apply and go there. It costs about $1,500 or less for a student to go through our cosmetology program. They come out with a license, and they can go to work right away. The local school in town for a cosmetology license is over $22,000. It's unbelievable. You know, I go and get my haircut at, just wherever, Sport Clips or Great Clips, everywhere I go to get my haircut, my haircut's always getting done by a Conroe ISD graduate. And most of them are working themselves through school by doing that. So great programs, and don't forget those as you're looking at classes for your students. Now, we talked about the distinguished level of achievement as one of the things that you can get on House Bill 5. What do you have to do? Well, you have to finish the Foundation High School program, you have to have an endorsement, and you have to take Algebra 2. If you do all those things, and you're in the top 10%, you're eligible for the automatic admission into a Texas university, which is that top 10% rule. If you finish in the top 10%, but you didn't follow these rules, you won't be eligible for that provision of automatic admission. And it's the top 10% rule. I would tell you, though, University of Texas is top 8%. They don't follow the top 10%. They only go to 8. Performance acknowledgments. We don't know a whole lot about these yet because they don't take effect until this current freshman class becomes seniors. This is all the information they've told us, but basically, if students have done well on AP exams or PSAT, they'll get performance acknowledgments. And what does that mean? It means we're going to put stickers on their diplomas. I don't know what your kids' diplomas are going to look like. This may look like their kindergarten work, really, when it's all said and done. We just may have stickers lined up all over their diplomas, but they'll be official, so you'll be fine. So, if you follow our recommended plan, which we showed you, it was in the right-hand column on that one slide, this is what it'll do for you. Number one, your student's going to be prepared for whatever they want to do after high school. If it's college, if it's 2-year, if it's a trade school, whatever it is, they're going to be ready. If they just follow what I've already shown you, they will get an arts and humanities endorsement and a multidisciplinary endorsement just by following what we said. Regardless of what 5.5 electives they take, they will already have 2 endorsements. Is it possible for somebody to graduate with all 5 endorsements? Probably. Probably can. Will it make a difference? I don't know. But they probably could. And if they just follow our plan, they will have that distinguished achievement automatically. So what I'm really telling you through all this House Bill 5 stuff is you're fine. It's not difficult. You'll see other districts talking about they're changing this and that and all, and you have to have a website, and it's really not that complicated for us. Okay, you send your kids to school, we're going to put them in our recommended track unless there's a reason not to, and they're going to go and they're going to be distinguished, and they're going to get endorsements, and they're going to be in great shape. Now, in addition to meeting the requirements of a graduation plan, they also have to pass standardized tests to graduate. Not our rules, these are the state's rules. This is another thing that changed with House Bill 5. It changed what tests they take. It used to be 15 in high school. As a high school principal, my head just used to explode on how we were ever going to keep track of what they've taken and what they've passed. Now it's 5, which is much more reasonable. They take 3 of them as a freshman. Seems weird to think that your freshman is already taking tests that they have to pass to graduate, but they are. They're taking 3 of their 5 in their freshman year. English 1, algebra, and biology are all freshman year. English 2, sophomore year. And then U.S. history is during their junior year. Right? They just have to pass those courses in order to graduate. Our students do very well. Woodlands High School does great. Okay? If your student does struggle in any of these areas, they will have all the remediation they need to help make sure they graduate. Now, levels of courses offered. And those of you that have had folks in high school, this hasn't changed, but if you're new to high school, this is important information. Starts off with level. That's just the regular class. When I'm taking level algebra, level whatever it may be, okay, that's an on-level course. The next step up is pre-AP as a young kid. And that's a class that's a little more rigorous. There's going to be more homework. There's going to be higher expectations. The point of these courses are to prepare them to go and be ready to take the advanced level courses later on. Yes, ma'am?
I have a question on the last slide. The exams required for graduation. What exams are they? I mean,
STAR.
They're STAR. It's called STAR EOC.
STAR EOC.
Yes. End of course, EOC. So pre-AP. Honors is a class that is on about the same level as a pre-AP course, okay? Once again, it's more homework than a level class, but it's not quite as rigorous as the next 2 that you see there. The next 2 are really important to you because you're the one that writes the checks for college. So this is why this is important to you. Dual credit and AP are powerful because they allow students to get college credit while in high school. Which means when that child goes off to TCU at 60 grand a year, if they can roll in there with 30 credit hours, just saved you $60,000, which is huge. So, dual credit. Those are courses that we teach alongside Lone Star College. They are technically enrolled in Lone Star College. There's a fee, but it's very affordable. And they take courses, and when they complete the course, they are given their high school credit, and then they're also given credit at Lone Star. They can then take that credit and transfer it into the universities. One of the things you need to pay attention to with dual credit is make sure that the university that you're considering for your child will accept dual credit. Some private schools may not. Out-of-state schools may not. Even some of the bigger universities, depending upon the area of study, may not. For example, if I'm going to be an engineering major, I'm probably not going to take dual credit math or science. The university probably won't want that. They're going to want to see AP, which is the next level. AP is what I would consider maybe the highest level of courses that we offer. It's advanced placement, and that's standardized across the nation. You say, well, why do universities care? You know, why would they take AP over dual credit? Because it's standardized across the country. They take a course that the College Board, who's in charge of AP, has approved. They look at the syllabus, they approve the course. At the end of the course, students sit for an exam, sit for an AP exam. Those exams are scored on a 1 through 5 scoring system, and they get their score back. And then once again, it'd be up to the university to accept it. If I'm going to Texas A&M and I want to be an engineering major, and I make a 2, which is low, 5 is the highest, I make a 2 on my calculus exam, Texas A&M may say, you know, that's not enough. You're going to need to take our course again. You make a 5, they're probably going to say, you've got that. We'll move you on to the next course. It's the university's decisions how they do it, but you're just going to have that idea of how to attack it. You have a lot of time to make these decisions. Okay, I just want to put this in your head as these are areas you want to send your students this direction because it saves you money in the long run. Now, GPA is affected by what level course you take. All right, we're on a weighted GPA system in Conroe ISD. That means the more rigorous course you take, the more grade points we will award you for your performance. There's a lot of different ways to do GPA. Districts do it all different ways. It doesn't matter how you do it. There's always somebody that's going to play the game or figure it out. Or, you know, the bottom line with this is just send your kids to the appropriate course and help them do the best they can do, and then the grades will shake themselves out at the end. But you can see they take AP or dual credit courses, those count as 6.0s if they get an A. So if you've ever sat in graduation or you read the paper and you're like, how does somebody graduate with a 5.4? That doesn't even make sense. You know, I thought it was 4. It's because we have a weighted system. Okay, when we do our rankings. Now, when you apply to colleges, they will typically ask you what is your weighted GPA and your unweighted GPA. They want to see it both ways when you're applying to colleges. Speaking of GPA, this is new. Even for those of you that have had high school students, this is a new one. This won't start until the current sophomores become juniors. So this is class of 2017 and below. One of the bits of feedback that we've received over and over again, based on the last slide in GPA, is we're punishing our kids that are in band, athletics, orchestra, because those are level courses, so they count as 4 grade points. So you would often have students get to their junior and senior year, and they have to make a decision sometimes about, do I really want to stay in softball? Because I don't want that 4.0 dragging down my GPA that's currently above a 5. So we put this system in, GPA exempt courses. They'll have an option to exempt 1 course as a junior, 1 course as a senior. If they don't do any as a junior, they can do 2 as a senior. And it basically just takes that class out of their GPA. And the approved courses are those programs within the school. Theater, orchestra, fine arts, athletics, all those types of courses. It can pull that 4.0 out of it. Now, if their cumulative GPA is below a 4, they want that to count. So they wouldn't sign up for this, and they'll be coached as such when they get to high school. But if their cumulative GPA is above a 4, they'd want to pull it out. Is there still a little bit of a hit for being in those programs? There is, because while your student may be in 6 AP courses and taking band, some other kid's going to be in 7 AP courses. So they're going to get still a little bit ahead. You know what? I think there's a benefit for being involved in your school. Okay? So we don't want to make anybody have an unfair advantage. What we try to do through this program is take away the disadvantage that those kids that were involved had. This is on our website, so I'll show you where that is. Duke tip. You have a 5th or 6th grader now. They're going to go to 7th grade here soon. When they're in 7th grade, they could be a part of the Duke TIP program, Talent Identification Program. This is the program where students are given the opportunity to take the SAT or the ACT as a 7th grader. It's a good experience. I would encourage you, don't kill your children with SAT prep to go take this test. Okay? I'm a father who's been there. My son did it a few years ago. This is what it does for you. It's a good experience. It's good for them to go do it. It makes a huge difference for the kids that are like on another planet. Like there's kids that make perfect scores as 7th graders. That kid doesn't need SAT prep. Okay? They're fine without it. Okay? Most of your other just, your advanced gifted children that take it are going to score. If they score in the top % within the state, they get to go and they get a medal at a little ceremony. And that's really about it, other than it puts you on a mailing list for people to send you a lot of stuff and ask for your money. Okay? You get a lot of that stuff and they want to ask for money. But it's a good experience. The criteria is set by Duke. We don't set it in the school district. If they look at their 5th grade or their 6th grade star scores. Okay, so if they make a qualifying score in either of those grades, and you can go on Duke Tip's website and see what the qualifying scores are, they're there. We identify them, we'll send a letter when they're in 7th grade, and you sign up and you take the test. The Academy. One of the options you will have, yes?
Can we go back to Duke Tip?
Yes.
You said for those that are off the charts,
Yes.
it does them a huge thing. What is
Well,
it?
if they make a perfect score as a 7th grader, then obviously they're going to be on a different, they're on a different radar for universities at that point. The very top % nationwide will go to Duke for their ceremony. Like our students here, if they score in the top 1%, I think it's 1%, on any of the SAT tests compared to other 7th graders in the state, they go to Texas A&M is where we went for ours to get the medal. If you go top 1% nationwide, you go to Duke. That's going to put you on a different radar level. If your student's making a 1,500 as a 7th grader, we're probably going to be in different discussions, you and I, and about what are the best options for your student. Are we really going to do much for that student over the next 5 years in public ed, or is it time to figure out a way to move them on to college early? Those are the conversations we would have at that time. Now, the Academy is one of the options that you will have as a parent for your student as they go to high school. The Academy is a magnet program. It's located at College Park High School. If your student applies and is accepted, then they transfer from the Woodlands High School to College Park. They become a College Park student. And they would take their math and science classes within the Academy. It's just a little more specialized. People always ask, well, what if my kid doesn't go to the Academy? Are they going to get any less of an education? No, they're not. They can get anything you want them to have at the Woodlands High School, not being in the Academy. The Academy is just really focused for those kids that are science, engineering, mathematics type majors, and it's just a little more focused for them. It's about 200 kids in the program. Yes?
The last two things that you've highlighted are based on STAR scores.
Yes.
We've just moved here. My child has no STAR scores. Mm-hmm. So do I need to be talking to the counselor?
No, because
or will they be identified in some other way?
Because in 6th grade, they'll have STAR scores.
I have
after
a
this.
7th grader as well.
Okay.
And he's the one that I'm also.
Yeah, you need to talk to the counselor at McCullough about that to see if the state you moved from has a qualifying score from that state. And
doesn't.
Yeah, we'll just need to discuss that, about that student. Now, as far as for the Academy, they're going to be looking at 8th grade scores.
Okay.
They also take a test in 8th grade that's called the Ready Step. Ready Step is a test given by College Board. It's basically the 8th grade version of the SAT. It's the same company that writes the SAT and the PSAT. We give all of our 8th grade students that test. They'll take it in 8th grade. So that's one more score that they look at the Academy. Then they have an interview process. It's a competitive process. Everybody doesn't get in. I think they take 75 or so per year. They may have 400 applications for those 75 seats. So it is a competitive process. If that's what you and your child want, I wish you the best of luck. I hope it works out. I would just tell you, if it doesn't, you're okay. Take a look around. Kids walking out of Woodlands High School do amazing things. So you're fine if it doesn't work out. If you go there, you'll love it. If you don't, you're fine. Talking about PSAT, and this is just one of those in the future, so you know, PSAT is a big deal. They will begin to have the option of taking it as a freshman. All of our sophomores take it, all of our juniors take it. The one that really counts is the junior year. That's the one that's the National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test. If you are a National Merit Scholar, that's a great calling card for you into universities. Some schools have automatic free rides if you're a National Merit Scholar. University of Houston is one of them. I know that still does that. If you're a National Merit Scholar, it's an automatic free ride. Done. The way you become a National Merit Scholar is you have to score in the top 1% of all the juniors that took the test in your state. Okay? So I can't tell you what the target score will be. It changes every year. It's just wherever the cutoff is, top 1%. And it varies by state. Like I was looking earlier this week, Texas was, I think, the 6th or 7th highest in the nation. You know, our cutoff score from 2 years ago was 219. In other states, it might have been 211, 209, 2 whatever. We're in Texas, so we compete with Texans. So got to be in that top 1%. All right, there are also other programs. They have a Hispanic Scholar and an Achievement Scholar for African American students that can get you notations as well, but it doesn't come with the automatic things that a National Merit Scholar may bring. Typically, I would tell you, I think this past year, both College Park and the Woodlands each had about 20 National Merit Scholars. So if you just put the math to that, you know, at 1,000 kids at the Woodlands High School, you would expect 10. They always get over 20.
Class.
So yes,
Per class.
yeah, 1,000 kids per class. So just at 1%, you would think they would have 10. They typically have over 20, so they double up on their allotment usually. The SAT and the PSAT are changing format in 2016. That's a change that's coming. We've seen a little bit of the information, but we don't know a lot of it yet, but those changes are coming. These are, the next few slides I'm going to show you are just things that you will get in the future. I just want you to know they're out there, so when your kid gets to junior high school, you're going to know that these things are available. The first one is called Naviance Family Connection. We have this for 8th graders begin to have access, and then you will have access as a parent. And like the bottom says there, students can do in Naviance, parents can view in Naviance. So you can't go in and do stuff for them, but you can go in and see what they're doing, okay? But Naviance is where they go in, they'll do everything in there from requesting transcripts, they do their letters of reference in there, they get messages from the counselor about what colleges are coming to visit. They can go in and compare colleges and universities. There's even a feature on there where, let's say they pick their top 5 universities that they want to go to. It will pull everybody from the Woodlands High School that has applied to that school in the last so many years, and it will show them what the average score was from the Woodlands High School that got accepted at Duke. Okay? And how many kids applied and how many got accepted and how they compare to those kids. So it's pretty eye-opening. It's fantastic. It also allows you to go in and compare what do things cost. It's good for you, all those different deals. It's a fantastic website. It has interest inventories. If they don't know what they want to do, they don't know what they want to major in, they can do that and go in and check it out. They will begin to have access to this in 8th grade. So it's coming up fairly soon. Canvas is a new program that is just beginning. You'll probably start to see it this year at Mitchell. Mitchell will be one of our schools that will be out in front of this. It's a learning management system. Some of you may remember from your college days Blackboard. Have you ever taken a class on Blackboard possibly? It's an online system that allows courses to be taught as an online class and within the classroom. So it's a place where students can turn in information. They can go there to see lessons. It's very simple for the teachers to upload video. If they want to explain stuff or your student turns in work, the teacher can video a response back, giving them feedback on their work. It's going to grow over the next few years, but you'll start to see it this year. We chose Canvas. We looked at a lot of different choices. Blackboard was one of the choices we looked at. We chose Canvas because of its user friendliness. The great thing for you as a parent, especially if you have multiple children, is Canvas, you will get an account. You will be able to log in, and right on the first calendar on Canvas, you will have everything that's due for all your students on one place. You don't have to go to every different teacher's website to see what's going on. In one calendar, you'll see all your children's assignments right there. So as a parent, I'm like, hallelujah, okay? Because it's hard to figure out where to go, and I never remember any passwords. And so that will help. The University of Texas actually just switched from Blackboard to Canvas. So, you know, this is another one of those skills. As our students learn to use this in high school, when they get to college, they're just going to breeze right on through. Now, this is the Conroe ISD website, and this is just for future knowledge. After all this stuff I told you, you're like, I don't know what he even said. Okay, how do I go find it? If you go to the Conroe ISD website, you see up there in that top, the very top, you see tabs for schools, students, parents, and employees. You click that middle tab of students and parents, it will take you to this. And I've highlighted areas that would be of interest to you, okay? The paperwork on that GPA exemption is here. Canvas login is here. Our program of studies, which is basically everything that has to do with any academics in our district, is located there. We have SAT, ACT, PSAT prep classes in the district. Some of you will go out and pay Princeton Review or different people, and that's fine, but we also offer in-district stuff. If you go here, you will go to our college readiness website. You'll see all the different courses that we offer in the district. This is our summer school information if you're looking for summer school or advancement in math. And then our supplement to the program of studies, which is just the House Bill 5 information. And then credit by exam information is here, and parent access, which I'm sure you know how to already log in and see your students' grades. The Woodlands High School website, just another picture of that. They have a ton of information there too. And if you want to go ahead and start poking around there, you can. On these quick links here, you'll see Counselor's Corner. That's probably where most of the information that you'd be interested in is. It's course offerings and those things. And knowing that they change yearly, okay? So it's based on student interest. They could change. But it's a good place just to start poking around and getting an idea of what's available. So here's the real big slide. What are we supposed to be doing now? I'm a 5th or a 6th grade parent. How am I going to make sure my kid is successful when they get to high school? What should I do? This is the best advice I can give you. As a parent, as an educator, as a principal, all those different things that I've been and am, this is the best advice I can give you. Encourage your children, number one, to read, read, read. If they don't like to read, figure out how to make them like to read. Find things they like to read. They have to read. It's important on so many levels. Number one, it makes them a better writer. The more you read, the better writer you are. Number two, it improves your vocabulary immensely. And three, those first two combine together to make them much more successful on these college readiness exams. SAT, PSAT, having good scores on those exams go a long, long way. And it starts by being a very well-read student. So encourage them to read a lot. As you're picking courses for junior high, encourage them to take the most rigorous and difficult courses that are appropriate for them. Okay? We can't just sit here and have this blanket statement of, my kid's going to take all 4 core classes pre-AP. Some kids can, and that's appropriate. Other kids, you really want to stop and look at their strengths. If a student struggles in science, then maybe not pre-AP science as a 7th grader. Maybe they need to do level as a 7th grader and get their feet under them, and they can always advance later. You're not getting on a track in 7th grade. If you don't take advanced class in 7th grade, it's not like you can never do it. What you don't want to do is make your child gun shy of a tough class in 7th grade to the point where they decide, well, I'm never taking another advanced class, and then they just won't do it ever again because maybe they bit off a little more than they could chew as a 7th grader. So choose wisely. If it's appropriate to take all 4, do it, without a doubt. But really take a look at it. They need to be involved in something. I say this over and over again in secondary. If they're going to be successful in secondary school, they need to be involved in some type of activity, community service, club, organization, whatever it is, whatever they like, they have that opportunity at the Woodlands High School and McCullough Junior High. Okay? Have them find something that ties them to the school. It's hard to be really successful if you don't have something tying you to the school. All right? All right, this one's hard. It's the hardest one. Okay? You gotta let go a little bit. A little bit. If they're gonna ever stump their toe and learn hard life lessons, junior high is the best time to do it. GPA doesn't count. Okay? It doesn't go on their transcript. That's the time that they need to learn a few of these lessons that you'll hope that they have learned by the time they get to high school. If we as parents always run behind them and bail them out over and over again in junior high, they're going to get to high school and you can't bail them out anymore, and they haven't learned how to fix things on their own, they will stumble. And when they stumble in high school, it does count on GPA, it is on their transcript, and it's a lot more painful. It's hard. I've been there, okay? It's hard to sit there and watch them knowing that they should be doing something they're not, and you tell them, but they have to learn some lessons on their own. Teach them to be resilient. Resiliency is a lifelong skill that will make them better in everything they do for the rest of their lives, okay? It's critical. Fifth, have fun. They need to have fun. They need to work hard, and they need to become a thinker. We don't want programmed robots that are great test takers. We want thinkers. You know, we do academic conferences at every school. I went and sat at the Woodlands High School and listened to them talk for about an hour, and that was the point they drove home is we are a thinking school. We want kids that can think. So that's where they're headed. So encourage them to be thinkers. We want them to be successful, make A's. We all want that. But that's not the most important thing going through junior high. It's that they learn the process. They learn to think. They learn to be critical thinkers. For you moving forward, attend the information sessions that will be held at McCullough. Mr. McCord is without a doubt the greatest communicator of any of our secondary principals. He will give you more information than you ever wanted to know. I just gave you 28 slides. When you go to your incoming 7th grade information night at McCullough, it will be 150 slides. And you think I'm playing, but you think about me when you're sitting there.
And he's cut it down.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's the abridged Reader's Digest version, okay? He will give you more information than you'll ever need, but you will never be lacking for knowledge. You're never going to sit there going, I wish they'd just tell me what to do. He will always have that information. So go to those events, all right? Pay attention to his emails when he sends them out. You'll never miss anything. And last, enjoy the process. You know, for those of you that have had kids go through, you realize this stuff happens faster than you'll ever know it. You know, from intermediate school into high school and gone happens so quickly. Push them to be great, but enjoy the ride. You know, because when it's over, when they walk out of high school and they enroll in college, they go do whatever they do, no one's ever going to ask them again, were they in the top 10%? Nobody, you know, once they go to college, nobody cares if they were the valedictorian in high school. It doesn't matter anymore. Enjoy the process. You know, enjoy the process. Let them be kids, let them have fun, and they'll be successful. I know that we're over time, so I'm not going to do big group questions, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay here. So after y'all finish up here, I'll stay here as long as you have questions to answer any questions you may have. And you have my email address, it's on the card. You're always welcome to call me or email me if I can answer any questions for you. Okay? Thank you very much.